Alright, shout out to your boy TQ back once again for my very first PPA tournament, and at the 4.5 level no less. The last tournaments I played were 4.0 doubles, and we ended up winning gold, and it was kind of like, alright, let's try 4.5. And this one is going to be special because, one, not only is it my first time playing a PPA tournament where, you know, the competition flows like wine. Just kidding. But also playing with Eli again. You know, back when we were in Houston, Eli and I played doubles. We played some doubles tournaments together. Did pretty well. It has been a little over half a year since we last played together. So he actually flew in from Texas to play with me in the PPA San Clemente. Now you might be wondering where's the first game? So actually we had a little mishap, and we did not have the tripod for the first game, and my wonderful girlfriend went and literally bought a tripod and brought it, and we were able to set it up for the second game. But yeah, we lost the first game 11-3. So let me just go through my first PPA experience with you guys. So 4.5 level, didn't really know how we're gonna fare, and then from what I've heard is the competition's a little harder than what you would play in like 4.5 local tournaments, which definitely for sure, because you know I play the 4.0 level over here in some local tournaments, and it's not quite like the same. I mean, even in Houston, the 4.0 level generally was a lot tougher than what I have experienced here so far and have seen here so far in California. And it might just be the saturation, I'm not exactly sure, but yeah. So, also actually, it's probably because a lot of the tournaments that I played in Houston, there was prize money in every bracket. So people are not trying to play up into the next level. They're trying to, you know, win and get that prize money for placing top 3, which you have a better chance if you're playing like at your level, like if you're 4.0 to 4.5, you have a better chance of getting that prize money playing there than playing up like in the 5.0 level, which you'll see a lot of that over here in California, where those lower draws, like basically everything besides the open draw, from what I've noticed, there's not really prize money on the line. So people are just trying to, like, you know, improve their dupe or whatever by playing up, is what it seems like is going on. But anyways, yeah, so the first game, extremely nervous. One, like not having played Eli for a while, and then just the PPA. Wow, what a move! The PPA tournament, just like, you know, you're like, wow, we spent all this money. It's like 110 for registration, plus you pay for division. So, you know, you invested a lot into playing it. So easy to feel nerves. I always have some tournament nerves anyways. And then this was a lot earlier than what I'm used to, and so that's kind of like my own thing. Gonna have to like warm up a little better, because I know for me it takes like a solid like 3 games, just 3 warm-up games for me to fully be like awake and active. And so going straight into this, like game 1, it was very tough. I was making so many bad, just egregious mistakes, like not even giving pop-ups, just missing, just like absolutely missing easy shots that weren't even necessarily pressured on us. So also for the very first game, we did not know where the check-in desk was. It was like very unclear, and nor did we know where the restrooms were, and I had to pee extremely badly. And I don't know about you guys, but I am terrible at like, first of all, dinking's not my specialty. That's what I've been working on the most, you know, the short game. But it's extremely even harder to dink when I gotta pee. So yeah, the first game we kind of were like, okay, like they've been calling us for a while, and so we kind of were like, okay, maybe we should just get on court and start the game so we don't, like, you know, get defaulted or whatever, because in tennis, you know, they kind of like might F you around, if you show up late or whatever. So we started, but you know, that didn't really work out like well for us anyways. So that's a little regrettable, but now, you know, we know. So anyways, going into the second game. So by the way, playing against Dylan and Maverick, I think they're both like 13. Maverick had won the like boys under 14 singles PPA like completely, I think, like earlier, like looking on the records or whatever. So that's pretty amazing. And then playing against the two, it was very different for me. The people that I play against, or a lot of the people that I practice against, they don't just only dink and drop like this. They're not so short game focused like these two were. And there's a lot more pressure. Like for me, what I felt like when I got dragged up, we would get dragged up and they dink, and their short game, like their dinks were pretty aggressive, like they're pretty low, and they just seem very solid and comfortable. And then especially Maverick, the guy in the blue, you know, he would take these takebacks, and I was like, wait, is he about to speed up or is he about to go a certain direction? And he was just very good at disguising, so I didn't even exactly know what was coming, and it just made it feel very uncomfortable. And I think it just really did a really good job of like letting me see like, okay, this is what I really need to work on, just the short game, getting these things more consistent, getting the counters, the anticipation, the technique of that. Because even there, it's like what I've learned since then is a big thing that I've been working on is 4 counters, which this should be obvious, but like 4 counters, like I always feel like I know where the ball is going, but I can't move my paddle quick enough, or I don't have the technique. I just end up hitting like a weirdly executed shot, and I'll miss it regardless of how well I can anticipate. You know, I think from tennis, like you have a decent idea of anticipating where shots are going to go, but still like my execution felt weird. And one of my friends in practice told me, shout out to Tom, if you, I don't think he watches these, but he told me, he was like, yeah, sometimes I just speed up at you and it's because your paddle's kind of down, and so you're bringing it all the way from down position to up. So even if you know where it's going, like it takes a little too much time for you, and that's probably why you miss. And since then, trying to be more conscious about keeping the paddle up, it has helped so much in my counter, like anticipating counters and stuff like that. It's just made, it's actually a huge help. And it just seems so obvious, but like until someone tells you, because it's like I thought, you know, I didn't think that was a big issue, but being conscious about it, I'm like, oh wow, yeah, like this definitely does feel different. So you can see right there, you can just see how well Maverick's doing with kind of disguising, not showing if he's going to speed up, not just speeding up every opportunity because maybe we'd counter it, but doing just a great job. So afterwards, before I speak about this next game, afterwards I'd like to say, like, Eli had asked them about like what we could do better. And, you know, it's crazy, like 13-year-old boys, and this dude was literally, the guy in the blue was talking to us as if he was like an adult coach with years of experience. I mean, maybe he has years of experience, but I just think like it's rare to find somebody that young who speaks that well and with so much confidence, and like well-spoken as well. Like everything he's saying was making a lot of sense to us. And so it was just, I was like, wow, this is pretty freaking cool, you know? But it also goes to show, it's like, it doesn't matter, like age necessarily isn't everything, of course, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, it's like that, it sucked to lose right there, and especially when, you know, we were up in the second game at first, and to lose kind of sucks. But I think with the short game abilities of both of us, our teams, you know, they definitely, you would be betting on, if you're a betting man, you would be betting on them to win over us, just in terms of like maybe we pull off some like, you know, fantastic points or great shots, you know, and maybe we could pull off the games, but in terms of solidness and being consistent, they were definitely, in my opinion, the better team. So anyways, congratulations to them. I think they like won quite a few matches in the tournament before they got knocked out. And so here Eli and I are in our first backdraw match. Backdraw, it's just 1 game to 15, which is still good. I actually really like the 2 out of 3 format. It gives you a chance to kind of settle in, because if you're just playing 1 game to 11, like in a lot of local tournaments, it can be over before you even realize what happened and you didn't even settle in. So this gives you a lot better opportunity. Now we're playing against Chris and Harry here, and which is crazy because Chris is actually somebody that Eli knows from his club in Houston, and he happened to be visiting family or something like that, and he thought he'd jump into the tournament. And what are the chances that we actually end up playing him out of like, I think there were like 30 something, or there were like 70 players or something at least. I'm not sure if it was 70 teams, but it said 70 teams, but I'm not sure if that means players or whatever. But what are the chances that we actually play them? So anyways, Chris was definitely the higher like level player. I think he was rated like Eli told me he's like rated like a 4.6 or something like that. And before, we had run into him like while walking to the venue, and he was telling us that he's gonna have to do a little bit of like, you know, backpacking, you know what I'm saying? Anyways, so yeah, just didn't really know what to expect. And coming into it, seeing the, you know, backhand slice serve and stuff, it definitely took a little getting used to, because I was just like so, I don't know, almost like just psyched out, like what am I even seeing right now? But it actually worked out pretty well for him. I think like the serves are really low, spinning kind of funny. So it's just like, if you're not, you know, I've never actually played against that, so it is very different. Coming into this game, also, yeah, actually speaking about like just the experience of playing, one thing for us is that You can see like in the background, the trees are kind of moving around a little bit, etc., etc. So I've been playing outside, so it feels a little bit like it's like, yeah, I kind of know what to expect a bit. But Eli coming from Houston, you know, most of their practice is indoors. And so even when I was playing over there, like the clubs indoors, the tournaments are indoors, like switching to outdoors all of a sudden, especially when the conditions are very different, because Houston is super humid, pretty hot, you know, the ball moves quite slow, it's very heavy. So just adjusting is a little different, especially if there's a breeze. So I think Eli was talking about how, like, in terms of him feeling his drops, what his drops are comfortable with, especially because he likes to do the cut drop, you know, on the forehand. It was definitely making it a little harder. And there was one side that we definitely found more success with, both in that first game and just even here, we're seeing it a little bit. But yeah, definitely a little bit more settled into this next game. This is technically like game 3, so I'm definitely like a little bit more alive, awake. Unfortunate miss, going for a little too much there. So this one definitely, it felt better for sure. It felt more kind of like what I'm used to seeing, because you see these points, there's like some driving from the baselines, just crashing, you know, speed ups out of the air, and not just pure like drag you to the net and dink you to oblivion. So a little bit more what I was used to. Also, by the way, guys, since the last video I posted, tournament video, here now we've got the official Yonex USA Pickleball sponsor, or no, ambassadorship contracted, you know. And so everything I'm wearing is basically from them. Got the hat, got the shirts, which they gave me like 4 shirts, so I let Eli borrow some so we could, like, you know, match, which in the end he was like, he said he did not have a very great record when matching, so it's kind of maybe it's a little bad luck, you know what I mean. But maybe we just go for color coordination instead of like completely matching. But anyways, yeah, shirts, shorts, shoes. These shoes are freaking amazing, no break-in period. So yeah, thank you. Gotta just quick shout out to Yonex USA Pickleball for all the gear and all the support, because it's pretty freaking cool, honestly. So here we are, starting off, by the way, is though not too great. Once again, we are down. This side that we're on, though, it is the side that we felt like was harder to play on compared to the other side. I'm not exactly sure. I think it was the side. It's the side with the wind behind us, because it just felt like things get carried a little too long. It made it feel a little harder. Whereas the side that now we're on after switching sides at 8, like, because the wind's going because the wind's blowing into us, because we both like driving, it feels like we can go for a lot more on the drives, and it's fine. It's not going to go out. And then also with the drops, it helps because you can kind of just loft them up into the air, and even if they're a little high, the wind kind of pushes them back. So when your opponents are reaching in, it's a little harder for them to reach in, because the ball will kind of just die a little bit when the wind's going against you. I mean, it wasn't too intense, but you could definitely feel a little bit on some of them. I think we're about to have, I remember one rally being just really, oh, this is it. Boom, the one-hander. Dominic theme. Okay, that was actually a lot slower than I thought. Crazy lob right in the corner. And the finish with the tennis volley. Yeah, looking back at that, the very first shot is kind of a egregious pop-up. But that's what happens, man, tournament. And in the end, you could hear, at the very end, or actually throughout, you can kind of hear Harry, I guess, the one in the black, talking about him being very nervous. And, you know, I totally feel that, like, with this one tournament setting, and then just look at how official this one seems. You know, nerves can definitely play a part. So, yeah. Anyways, just talking about, like, moving forward, you know, this whole experience, right? It's super cool, like around the grounds, being able to see the pro players, and then I think the PPA does a really good job of trying to make it, like, you know, really interactive and like entertaining, because besides just playing the matches, like they give you like a little goodie bag, you got like a little shirt, you know. It wasn't a super cool shirt, honestly, but you get a goodie bag, and then there's a bunch of these booths, right, set around. And, you know, me being a like food vendor as my full-time small business job, when I see booths, I'm thinking people are selling stuff. But over here, all the booths were like free. I was like, I couldn't believe it. There was like a coffee protein shake by Ensure booth. And my girlfriend and I thought for sure we were paying for these. So we went up like fully expecting to pay, and it was just free. I was like, whoa, what the heck? And so this is just a lot of giving stuff away and like little mini games around the thing. So it's pretty cool. And then watching the pro players, getting to see them live is just a really good insight into like basically how things are, you know, in terms of ball speed, because this happens in tennis too, where I was thinking like, oh, you gotta hit the ball so hard, but it's like, it's not necessarily just about power. Like in actuality, like once you're an grown adult, you know, you generate pretty much the same power, especially in pickleball, especially coming from tennis. You kind of know how to generate power, but watching the men's singles players, they're just really good about moving the ball around and, sorry, I just dropped my mic a little bit, and super agile at the net, I would say. Like, you know, I'm coming back from injury, having like sprained my LCL, MCL that freaking sucked a whole month off, and then, you know, my knee's still a little stiff, so I feel comfortable to play doubles, but singles, I'm a little freaked out by it, you know. But watching the pros play, it really kind of motivated, like inspired me. I was like, dang, I really want to play singles again. And just, you know, the lightness on the footwork, you know, in tennis, you can kind of power through your movements with a lot of, you know, muscle and like, kind of like Rafael Nadal, if you've seen him. It's a lot of powerful movements, leg strength. But in pickleball, I feel like you need to be very light and agile because there's so much cutting, so much turning around, and just like this lunging and quick moves. Like if you're too powerful on the ground, especially with how small the court is, it's not going to work out. But anyways, that's the end of the match. Awesome experience, and hopefully we'll get to run it back with Eli again. And by then, hopefully, you know, I will be better at the short game. See you next one. Peace.